look, at the end of the day, with single issues, for me, I didn't collect single issues because I wanted to put them on a shelf. And a lot of what happens with a lot of these single issues is they get stored in boxes and no one ever sees them. And for me, the whole point is to discuss and talk about, like we're doing, the comic books. I can pull them out. I can show you. I can discuss with you. And if you came around my house, like friends, we can talk about it and we can pull them out. And that's why I always go on about this pro tip. If any of you ever watch my complete collections, you'll know that I reverse the order which I put the comic books on the shelf. So a lot of people go left to right, and I go right to left. And the reason is that when you pull the books out, if you take them out from the shelf, when the top will be the first book, the second will be the second book, the third will be the third book. If you put them in the opposite order, when you take them out from the shelf, you've got the reverse order of the books. And it's a silly little thing, but the point is that when you're trying to show people the books, every time you have to reverse the order, and it doesn't make sense. It's a much better organization if you want to reverse the order of the books.
If you, I believe that would work better if you were in Asia or Japan, because of how they print the manga books. Because
they go right to left anyway, don't they? Yeah.
Yes, but then the covers is on the wrong side, so what people think is the right way for our books would probably be more correct for them.
Yeah, that's right. So I think this kind of pro tip that I recommend to everybody is really the way forward, because we're lucky enough to have the front cover on the right side. So when we reverse the order, I actually have the front cover of the book. It's pretty amazing that it's actually a viable option. But I'm yet to see lots of collections with this reverse order.
I don't know, I might try to do that before I film my next update video, which will be up sometime in July or August. I'm still waiting for some collections to be released and be sent to my home, and I want to review them as well before putting them up in a collection video.
Your collection has grown significantly since the original collection that I remember seeing.
The original collection video, I believe, was 2 years ago almost, but my latest update was in July last year.
So, I mean, what we're saying, I mean, I suppose, is that a lot of patience is required, because you've been patient enough to try and get those books as and when you feel they were the right time, right?
Yes, of course. And most of the stuff this year, at least, or for a later year now when I'm buying from in-stock trades, has been buy the newer stuff first and the older stuff can wait, because when it comes to in-stock, I mean, I don't know if you know this, but the first week with most books from the bigger companies, they have 50% off. And when it comes to the omnibus and absolutes that you want to get, you should try to get them at that first week, because later on they'll only be 42% off in price.
Right, right. So they keep going up and up and up, basically, rather than down and down and down.
Yes. And some months or weeks, they have a period of time when the big two, DC and Marvel, has 45% off.
Wow. Wow. That's huge. That's a huge discount.
Yes. And when it comes to people who don't live in America, they do have international shipping. As you might know, I am from Sweden, and I do pay shipping prices for all the stuff that I ordered from America and UK, and sometimes Germany. And yeah, it's still worth it if you just count it into your budget of comics each month. There's really no problem at all. I mean, just don't go crazy. Make sure that you have a steady income and everything, or save up money.
What do you think of the Absolute editions?
The Absolute editions, I feel very strongly about. Very nice editions, very oversized, but could be a problem reading them. Some points when they're over 400 pages, they become quite large and quite thick. But you get.
You know, I don't have any, don't you? You know, I don't.
I know. I think I've seen you comment on you not liking the format as much.
Yeah. I mean, look, you know, each to their own. I'm not denying that they may be good for some people, but I don't have Absolute editions for three main reasons. For those people that are interested, the first reason is that I had Absolute editions when I first started collecting, and other friends I've seen online have had Absolute editions when they first start collecting, or later on, and pages have come out of the Absolute editions. The binding has been poor, and so that's quite a scary situation, because if you're spending that kind of money and pages come from the actual editions, that is very scary for me. So that's one reason. I don't think that happens anymore. But
I've seen some videos, problems with the Absolute Green Arrow, and that's quite recent.
Oh really? Wow. Okay.
Yes,
I can't. Sorry, go on. You were saying, go on.
Sorry, some sticky pages sticking together and everything. That was the problem in those books.
I don't want to. I don't want to go near them. Also, the second reason is the oversized size. They're unreadable for me. I can't. It's not like I can. I have to go to a table or lie down on the bed or something. I can't hold them. They're like this. And I'm a big boy, and I should be able to. But it just can't. They're uncomfortable to read for any period of time. So what they're saying is that these things are there just to look at and show how beautiful they are. But for me, my priority is to read the graphic novel. And I know that sounds stupid at times when I have such a big collection, but it really, honestly, it is. And there are books that I have that are oversized. Like I've got the Hellboy library editions. Those are quite large books. And I have the Big Damson City book, and that's also a very large book. And you could argue that those are unreadable as well, and I would submit to that. I would actually submit to that, and I'm not sure that was the best idea to get them in that format. But those were the only hardcover formats that I felt were financially viable. They were cheap when they came out, and it was worthwhile. The third major reason I don't have Absolute editions, and this one is also very key for me, is that when they upscale the original comic to the new Absolute size, the line work starts to look odd, like it was never meant to be that size. Over like pixelated, if you like. It's not over pixelated, but you can see the line work on a detail that I feel you shouldn't really want to see. It shouldn't look like there's jagged lines everywhere. It should look smooth, because that's how it originally was in the comic book, and that's the image I'd like to see. If they digitally touch them up to make them look good, which they have for some of them, then that's a separate situation. But for a lot of them, they didn't.
Yes, and when it comes to comparing the two, if someone don't have the Absolute, it's quite the size of the library editions that Dark Horse released.
Yeah.
And when it comes to comparing to the other big one, Marvel, it has the same kind of content like Marvel Masterworks, I would say, when it comes to equal size of issues, because Marvel Masterworks collects, 8 to 10 issues?
Yeah.
And an Absolute collects a big, very much liked story arc from the DC history.
Right. I don't think they have anything that matches that size format in Marvel, do they?
No, I don't think so. I think the Marvel Omnibus is the biggest.
And you know what? I have to give DC credit, because they do release a hardcover of the stuff that they put Absolute. It's not like they give you a choice, either trade paperback or Absolute, because that would make me have a little cry. What they do is they bring out the trade paperback, the hardcover, and the Absolute, and some kind of Absolute edition for people. So, and I appreciate that. For me personally, I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's only later on that only the Absolute still stands. So that kind of makes it hard for people. But when you're there in the moment.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. One last message. I just saw in my mailbox that the Civil War Spider-Man is now shipped and will arrive soon. Well, I'll try to make an update whenever it arrives, and I'll just drool all over it or something when I pick it up.
Congratulations! Welcome to having a copy of the a very rare out-of-print Spider-Man hardcover. Very hard to get hold of, so well done for finding that.
Feels good.
It will look good on your collection, I promise you.
I think so too. Thank you so much for joining me, Ellie. Please, everyone, check out his channel. It'll be linked down below, and if not, we both will answer any comments that will come now or later in the future watching this video. Thank you for everyone watching live, if there was anyone, and thank you for anyone watching it in the future. So yeah, that's it from
Can I
us.
say one last thing before we go? I'm hoping that the next time we do a Google Hangout that we'll have a couple of the other big collectors. So here's a shout out to Caldwell Comics and Lim Fizzle and who else am I thinking of?
Riley Moore.
Riley Mo and Fakaday and was it Michelle? Was her name?
Francesca.
Francesca, sorry, apologies. Yeah, Francesca. So, you know, shout out to those people. Please, it would be great to join and have an experience to talk to other collectors around the world.
Absolutely. And with that, I think we're done. So thank you everyone for watching and see you in the next video. Bye.